You know what's really upsetting on the fact that OK K.O has a lot more potential than it already has? Is the fact that these characters, mainly Enid's school friends, have a lot more potential and probably something to contribute if we have more seasons from the show. Because Monster Party is one of my favorite episodes from OK K.O. I love this episode, to the point that it made me appreciate on the fact that this show can do a lot more when it comes to its creativity. And considering I stopped binge watching it, it just made me disappointed on the fact that even though that I'm a fan of Steven Universe, it's also one of the reasons onto why shows like OK K.O got cancelled. You know, even though that I can understand that Cartoon Network at the time did the SpongeBob route of using a popular cartoon as the main focus while leaving other cartoons overshadowed. All I can think of is that Teen Titans Go has done it a lot more worse than Steven Universe. Admit it, you know it's true even if I favor Steven Universe over Teen Titans Go. Anyway, the main plot of this episode is that since Enid has kept her private life secret from anyone, well, up until her friends found out, she has to be like a witch, or pretend to be like a witch, in front of her school friends. But unfortunately, since that she favored being a ninja over becoming a witch, you can tell things are gonna get a lot more uglier, judging of how the handicap position Enid is in. I've seen the Enid's parents episode. Well, it centers around Enid's life being private, and to be perfectly real with you, knowing full well that she wants to be independent, it really shows her personality being a lot less in comparison to the other characters. Like, if you really think about it, it's really outstanding on the fact that she is willing to become a ninja despite everything she went through. It's just really, really difficult for a person like Enid to go through all of this in her life. And considering that Enid went to college in a couple of episodes before coming back to the main plaza, I'm sorry I forgot the name, but mainly back where she belongs, it really showcases of how much Enid really wants to be independent, and yet at the same time she's put in positions where she can't be able to decide on which direction she needs to take, and her school friends is a perfect example. You wanna know why that we should see more of these characters if this show got renewed with more seasons? Is mainly the fact that Enid has grown a true relationship with the characters that they're the same age as her, and judging of how that she has gained more experience with them in comparison to K.O, which I will admit she did gain experience with K.O and that, but the more you think about it, her development really showcases of her improvements as a person with people that are her age. Because these characters have gained experience since that they're from Gore High School. Mainly the place where involves witches and Halloween creatures and whatnot. And believe it or not, the fact that ninjas aren't really Halloween related unless if you want to dress up as a ninja for Halloween, it's really saying something that if Enid took the witch route, which she refused, she wouldn't be in this position on being so handicapped. I may have overused the word handicap multiple times, especially in bad episodes, but the thing is, Enid has more than 3 friends who have different talents after their experiences in Gore High School. And believe me when I say this, if we actually get to see more involving Enid's relationships with her friends, there will have been a lot more involving her experiences since that she chose to be a ninja rather than a witch. And even though we may resort to having this animation style, but at the same time OK K.O has a great animation design in comparison to what I've seen in other cartoons. Granted, other cartoons may look better than this when it comes to their own animation style, but the fact that OK K.O is unique it really feels like that they want to do a lot more expressions than necessary. And even though that the expressions from other shows are good in their own way, OK K.O is a lot more different and way more unique the more you watch this show. Getting back on track, the final minutes of this episode, mainly when Enid is trying so hard to perform her spells, but she is failing miserably at it, you can really tell that if the characters, mainly her friends from Ghoul School, actually turn on her, it would probably be a lot more different considering that they grew up in an environment that their talents improve on themselves, while Enid, not so much, but they actually knew that she preferred to be a ninja rather than a witch, because during her past, she dropped one of her books, and her friends catched on completely. Like, seriously, the sequence is less than 10 seconds long. You know, if you really think about it, the people who made this show are really trying to make every single character likable, even though that they're highly positive. And sometimes when you have highly positive characters, you really need to write them correctly. And considering that what I've witnessed from this episode from beginning to end, where Enid is actually being accepted as a ninja rather than a witch, sometimes I wonder what the scheduling and planning were like involving the Cartoon Network brand, because in comparison to Nickelodeon, they're better, but at the same time I'm also seeing cracks way more frequently than I thought. I honestly found the rap at the end really good, even if it didn't last long. I may not be a fan of rap, even if I did like a few songs involving rap. This really sums up of how much passion was put in this episode, especially since that one of the characters at the end, mainly the moon, say that it's Halloween. So Halloween does exist in OK K.O, but not Christmas, but I'm starting to understand why people really enjoyed Halloween, considering that 4 years ago, I wasn't really into the Halloween spirit. But here I am doing all these videos. If you ask me, Halloween is a lot more than I think about. Like I said before, I love this episode, and the bit at the end where Enid's father turns into a human, he is hideous, and to be perfectly honest with you, he is hideous than being a wolf. You know, the fact that Enid's mother actually wants her husband to be as beautiful mainly as a wolf because she prefers it that way is really saying something onto why people really love her other than her looks. Let me tell you, the more I get into the fan base of what they enjoy from the characters, the more I realize that there's a lot more than what they do. And I am referring to the ones that you're mostly avoiding with. I'm giving Monster Party from OK K.O a 9.5 out of 10.